Well, you guys seemed interested in the last episode, so let's keep this going for a while. I got a lot of good feedback on the last few cards, so let me go over the mechanical changes. Deca Extraction is now green because of color pie reasons. Similarly, Encounter in the Woods is now green or red instead of just green. And Head Hooligan no longer has First Strike by default and has to use his ability to get it. Thanks for the help with a lot of the smaller formatting stuff too. I will continue to make mistakes, but hopefully fewer the longer this goes on. Now then, let's get on with Canto 1, The Outcast. Notable themes for this batch will be green creatures focused on G-Corp mutations through counters, as well as the somewhat controversial regenerate mechanic, allowing our bug friends to be nigh unkillable if we can afford the cost. We'll also see a number of black cards here, especially abnormalities. Speaking of abnos, I should note that the abnormality subtype can be applied to a number of different permanent types, not just creatures, so I can represent some of the weirder abnormalities. Ego have a similar trait, only they won't be creatures and will usually be sorceries and instants, at least while we remain in Limbus. Our first card is the Outcast himself, Gregor. He's green, cheap, and when he attacks, he can gain a variety of mutations. If he would die, you can regenerate him in exchange for shedding his mutations. On his own, nothing too special. Thankfully, he's paired with an Ego. Most Ego will use a new mechanic called Resonance. If you can show a permanent you control, or reveal a card from your hand with the listed name, you can choose to pay the Resonance cost instead of the normal one. Some Resonance will be discounts, while others will give special effects. Suddenly One Day takes a creature with a bunch of counters and pumps it up big for the turn, based on how many different counters they have. If you pay the Resonance, it'll come back to your hand each turn, so with a creature that gets more and more counters each turn, you can ramp up some big hits over time. Moving into some fodder enemies, former G-Corp soldiers start out with a +1/+1 counter, and can be saved by paying mana to regenerate. The G-Corp manager pumps up creatures who are saved by regenerate, and is more effective if they are insects, letting them get right back into the fray after their near-death experience. Let's pick up our guide. Yuri is a white or blue mercenary with vigilance and first strike, so you can know she can take care of herself. At the end of your turn, she looks into your deck, and if she finds abnormalities or ego, she harvests some Enkephalin tokens, and can also sell those tokens for treasure. What does Enkephalin do? Well, it serves as sort of a lesser treasure, adding 1 mana of any color, but only for ego. But you can also burn it for charge counters. It's not super good on its own, but it'll be very important when we move on to LobCorp. Speaking of LobCorp, let's enter the Ruins, a special land that really likes abnormalities and can tap them for Enkephalin. Enemy time! We have 3 of the 6 normal Pekatula. Wrath Pekatula is super aggro, Sloth gets stronger when you don't attack, and Gloom causes mill, which will be where a lot of sinking effects go. Not much more to say here. Our first enemy is Ebony Queen's Apple, which wraps its roots around non-basic lands and chokes them of any abilities, while also restricting your enemies from drawing extra cards, forcing them to give up something if they draw more than 1 card each turn. Her ego also restricts lands, this time by tapping 1 and putting a stun counter on it, while also weakening your enemy's creatures. As we go deeper into the facility, we get betrayed by Hopkins with Toxic Gas. Everyone has to sack a creature and mill a few cards. Hopkins himself doesn't deserve a card. Doomsday Calendar is actually just a saga. I wanted to bring in the timer aspect of it, and while I could have made it a saga creature like the Final Fantasy summons, I wanted to keep it a bit simpler. It's not like this Abno does much on its own anyways. Its ego, Impending Day, both kills a creature and progresses a saga of your choice. Very synergistic. As we go deeper into the Fathoms, we come across Mother's Hands, our first counterspell effect, returning the spell if cast normally, but with a little extra kick, will exile the card instead, making damn sure that unwanted spell is never coming back. Golden Apple isn't even a creature. It's not like the original ever did much anyways. It gives a tiny amount of life gain over time, can put shield counters up for white mana, and if you pay life and a creature to transform, it turns into a big monster that constantly saps your enemy's life. The Ego, Ledger Domain, allows you to accumulate copies of all tokens among creatures you control onto one creature. Wonder where that synergizes with. Finally, for story content, we have Villainous Reveal. Exile the top 9 cards of your deck. Each turn you can cast one creature from among those exiled this way. Show off your threats and then slowly bring them onto the field one at a time. Our last card is another Gregor. Each Canto, I think I'm going to bring in the Seasonal Highlight ID as a mythic. Since G-Corp Gregor is the closest thing he has to one, this is my choice. This Gregor is still green, but also your choice of either white or black. He regenerates every turn for free and has double strike, making him very tough to kill. When a non-token insect you control dies, you gain 1 life and make a token insect soldier. The war never ends, and the comrades you lose will only get replaced by new, fresh bodies. That's all for this batch. I know I skipped a couple of things I could have made cards for, but I didn't have much inspiration at the moment for stuff like Smoke War cards or a Hopkins creature. I'm not opposed to coming back to old Cantos though, so maybe they'll get made when I feel like it. Hopefully, as I make more and more cards, the ideas I'm trying to put together will become clear. I'm sure I'll have to do rebalancing at some point, and certain cards may be changed if I or viewers have different ideas. Next up, I'm going to do some standard fare cards, focusing on Fixers and Railway 1 Abnos. Then I'll be moving to Canto 2, then Canto 3. See you soon!